going to dig my heels in on this one because the Liberty Flames are going to be the first Cinderella of the 12-team college football playoff era. Here's the way I see it. I think Liberty's going to be able to claim that spot as the 5th highest ranked conference champion. I think they're going to bulldoze their way through Conference USA. The chances are the team that Liberty will be playing is a team that has lost in either the SEC or Big Ten championship game. Now you've got to get up and you've got to go against Jamie Chadwell, who's had 2 weeks to put together a game plan with Caden Salter running the show for that offense. I think that this is going to be where we embrace the 12-team playoff. It's with a first-round upset, and I think Liberty has the coach, the quarterback, and the team to be able to go get it done.
That is Chip from CBS Sports. Jerry, how do you feel about that?
I feel great. It's gotten a lot of flack on social media, even from our own fans. I can see the hesitation a little bit from some of the people, but I mean, hey, we go in, we get a New Year's Six last year. We obviously play a juggernaut in Oregon, and what happened. But I mean, if we can get into the first round, which I think, or the first round, and get a lower team, like if we were to have played like on Florida State last year, something along those lines, I think we can easily get in there and pull out a dub in the first round.
I completely agree. I think he might be jumping the gun a little bit because we did get absolutely blown out by Oregon. They stomped on us. It is Oregon, and they were in that conversation to make the playoff themselves. But yeah, I think we do have a pretty good chance to make a run in the college football playoff this year. Not necessarily saying that it will happen because we do have to be the best group of 5 team first.
Right.
But there's a good chance that it does happen, especially with some of the guys we have coming in. Jamie Chadwell and crew have done a really good job of making this team look a little bit better, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Since the offense was electric, they were really good most of the year. But the defense is what really concerned us, and they've done a pretty good job to make some amends. You've got some notes on some defensive players that are going to be coming in here, hopefully to make an impact this year, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a couple of we got one transfer that I noticed right off the bat when I was looking back through the notes. Obviously, I didn't get a large list going on here, but that UCF transfer, Jason, I think it's Declona, something like that. I think he'll be a good asset to the secondary there. Obviously, we lost a couple of guys in the transfer portal there, so I think he'll be a good guy to come in and fill those holes there. And obviously, we have some guys coming in, not only from the transfer portal, but coming in from this class of 2024, which I think will be a good addition to the team as well. That's kind of all I have for that right now. So if you want to go ahead.
Yeah. Brenton Williams is one of the guys that really excites me. He's an edge rusher. He was a commit from Auburn. He redshirted there. Not exactly sure what the details are of the transfer, whether it was like wanting playing time, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. I've seen some of his tape. The kid can play. There's one viral clip that I did see where he took a quarterback's helmet off, hit him so hard, blindsided him. He's one of those guys that I think could come in and make an impact immediately. He does have to play the position behind returning starter CJ Bazile. They're probably I believe they call the spot what do they call it? They call it like a joker position where he can move around anywhere. But the fact is that he's one of those guys that I think can make an impact. He's got a lot of speed, he's got hustle, tenacity, and he makes some really hard hits. He can punish a quarterback who's not paying attention.
Exactly. Yeah, you sent me that video, that YouTube video of just several of the high school highlights, man. I saw that one hit that you're talking about where the quarterback's helmet came off, man. After watching that video, I was so hyped for this kid. And it's going to be great to have him on that D-line.
Hopefully that now that we have some pressure coming in on quarterbacks, the secondary can also play a little bit better. You always want to put a little bit of the blame on the secondary when a deep ball goes up, but you also got to put a little bit of the blame on the defensive line. If they're giving up 4 or 5 seconds to the quarterback to make a throw, you can't blame the corners for giving up space. Like, there's only so much time that you can stay tight on a wide receiver, especially on a deep ball. So,
right.
I think this defense can make an impact this year and hopefully carry us to back-to-back conference championships.
Oh, yeah. And then going off of what you just said about the D-line, we've also, like you said, we got Bazile coming back, but we also have TJ Bush coming in the sophomore season. Like, the season that Bush had as a true freshman, like, I am so excited for that guy.
I can't believe that the prediction for him for next year is as a second team for Conference USA. That's so disrespectful because he should have been first team this year, at least as a freshman, first team freshman. And he was just really fun to watch. He's one of those guys that on the defensive side of the ball, you always locate the guy with the long hair sticking out the back of the helmet. He's the first guy I would locate on defense. And he really, really scares some quarterbacks. He's the first thing that they're thinking about coming into this next season. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our Write That Down. This is a segment that it was inspired by the guys at Score North, one of the podcasts that I listen to quite a bit. But a little bit about it.
If you want to write this down and take it into your prayer group times.
Making some weekly predictions about all things Liberty sports. Doesn't have to just be football. Doesn't have to just be Liberty, actually. It could be anything in the conference or in college sports, as long as there's some kind of correlation there. Or it could also be alumni. I do have a prediction coming up about alumni. So the predictions do need to be quantifiable, meaning that they have to be things that we can point out this did or didn't happen. Also, we're going to be making 3 predictions a week. We're going to be judging them by completion percentage, touchdowns, or Hail Marys based on the likelihood of them happening. So we can just go ahead and get into this. I got my first prediction. I've got it written down here. Caden Salter is going to finish in the top 5 Heisman voting.
I love that. Love that.
It's one of those where it's like, that really doesn't sound like something that's possible, especially for a G5 school. But you mentioned it before. Doug Flutie did it. And, you know, I think it would be – I don't think it's that impossible to happen because looking around the league, there's not really any big names that stand out to you in this draft class coming in. And Caden Salter is one of those guys that I think is at the top of it and could really surprise some people that aren't paying attention.
How far out of the realm of the voting was he last season?
Oh,
he got a little bit of hype around that, I think.
I think he did towards the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But he did have 1 or 2 bad games, like the Sam Houston game.
Right.
I think that kind of brought him down a little bit, but I know he was mentioned, at least by 1 or 2 people in the media. They've definitely thought of him before, but they're never gonna. Well, I think this year they will finally give him some respect, but Liberty Sports has never had the kind of respect that, you know, one of the G5 or G4 now schools do. So that's my first prediction. I say Caden Salter is going to finish in the top 5 Heisman voting. So let's get into yours. What's your first Write That Down prediction?
All right, my first Write That Down prediction is UTEP and Sam Houston both become bowl eligible this season. With the new coaching staff at UTEP, Scotty Walden and his crew, I think that what I've seen on Twitter and different social media platforms, from what I've seen from them, like I think they've got a really, really good culture coming in there, and I could see them making a huge impact in season 1. I think they get to 6 wins, get a bowl game, hopefully win it, so make their conference look better. And then obviously Sam Houston last year, had a lot of struggles with getting so close, even against us. Unfortunately, that was scary. It came so close to winning a ton of games. They could have been bowl eligible had they won all those games, but sadly they lost it very end most of those games. So I think this season they recover from that. I think they are able to get into these games and finish these games. I know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of their troubles came from the offense, like the quarterback position. Interacting with a lot of their fans, I know that there was a lot of naysayers about their quarterback position. So I think with the new quarterback and all of that coming in, I think they'll be able to improve on the last season and get to 6 wins.
What did they finish with? They finished with was it 2 wins or 3 wins?
I think it was 3. I think.
And then UTEP, I think they were just outside.
Making 4 or 5.
Yeah. UTEP was one of those teams that was a little bit like we steamrolled them, I'm pretty sure, on their home field, but they're one of those teams that I feel like is mostly a basketball school. That's kind of what I think of, because the first thing I think of when you say UTEP is Texas Western. You think
I was getting ready to say the movie.
One of the greatest sports movies of all time. If we do want to get into that is in my top 5 for just sports movies in general. But yeah, I think those two teams can definitely have a bounce back year. Both of them being bowl eligible is maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I don't think it's also that difficult looking at their schedules. They're not really playing anybody that's that amazing besides us, of course,
Yeah, and then I was mentioning before we went live or when we started recording that I was kind of high on MTSU with the Derek Mason hire. I think it's a great hire, but they have to play 2 Power 4 opponents. One's Nebraska, I believe, and I forget who the other one is, but they play 2 Power 4s, and that was just enough to scare me out of the prediction of putting them in the bowl eligible bracket as well.
Yeah. Jacksonville State, I think, is one of those teams that I think they're going to get to 8 or 9 wins.
I agree. 100%.
They're scary, especially Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky made some moves this season. I believe they've got a new quarterback coming in.
Yes, they do.
And
forget his name.
I can't think of his name either, but that's not our school. So
was it? Hold on. Was it from a Sunbelt? Did he transfer from a Sunbelt school?
Yeah. It was it Old Dominion?
No, was it Texas
Coastal?
State? Was it Texas State?
It might have been.
I cannot think of his name.
I know we have gotten transfers, a lot of transfers actually, from the Sunbelt. It's kind of funny with all the talk between
back and forth.
Sunbelt's so much better than Conference USA. Then why are they all transferring to here?
TJ Finley.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So I got my second prediction here. We're going to be dipping into the NFL with this one.
Ooh.
Former Liberty wide receiver, possibly the best wide receiver of all time, plays for your team, Demario Douglas.
Yes, he does.
He will have 1,000 or more receiving yards this season, and he'll have at least 5 touchdowns.
I love that. Love that. Love it so much. He obviously had a phenomenal rookie season. Obviously, I follow
with a coach who hates rookies too. With a coach who really does not like to play his rookies that well.
That is a valid point. That is a very valid point. But yeah, so obviously I follow a bunch of different fan bases or whatever, but I also follow, of course, the Boston fan bases, New England also. And like just seeing the fan base on Twitter and everything, all the other social media sites, they love DeMario. Everyone's calling him Pop. I love that. But yeah, I agree with that. I think he's going to have a breakout sophomore season. And then I'm going to throw this at you like I did before recording. This is an off the books prediction. I'm going to be wearing a DeMario jersey at a game this year.
You might be seeing me wearing a DeMario jersey on this podcast a few times coming up. He changed his number, which is a little a little disappointing for me because I got his jersey last year wearing number 81. So now anybody sees that number, and the first name that they're going to think of is Randy Moss, or they're going to be thinking of Aaron Hernandez. Those are the two names that they're going to be thinking of when they see that number.
Contrasting team.
Yeah, very, very different. Yeah,
I actually almost bought the jersey last year, and something told me to wait. And thankfully I waited. So now I can go and buy that 3 jersey.
I had a feeling when he was really lighting it up around week 6 and 7. I was like, man, he might like be their wide receiver 1 or 2. And I think he is wide receiver 2 this upcoming year. And that once you get enough hype, they're going to be like, yeah, you can change your number. So he goes to the number that I think there's a lot of importance for that number for him.
I read it. It's something about his family. I think it was his grandfather.
Grandfather or grandmother?
It was one of his grandparents, I believe. I don't remember the entire story, though.
There was an interview that the Patriots did, and they put it on their YouTube account with DeMario. The Patriots themselves, their social media have been given a lot of hype to him too, which just really cool to see. Just one of the more entertaining and nicer guys in the NFL, and they're giving him a lot of the spotlight, which I think he does deserve, especially with the way he played last year. So write that down. Demario Douglas will have at least 1,000 receiving yards and at least 5 touchdowns. I don't think he had a touchdown last year. I think he was just lighting up midfield. He wasn't getting targets from Mac Jones.
Mostly.
Which I got quite the opinion on Mac Jones. I think he's like one of the most overrated quarterbacks to ever play the game. Like they were trying to say like, well, look at the team that he has. It's like, does he really have that bad of a team? No, he really did. Defensively, yeah. Offensively, they had some guys that can play. So I don't think.
Well, the defense wasn't the problem with New England last year. The defense actually kept us in a lot of games.
Oh yeah, you got Matthew Judon and
Judon.
There were quite a few times where they were just getting into the red zone and either turning the ball over or settling for a field goal. So, but now you got rookie QB coming in there. You got
Drake Brissett too.
Jacoby Brissett, is he going to be starting week 1? Do you think, as a Patriots fan?
I think he will. I think he'll be starting week 1. I would probably expect him to start the first, I'm going to say 3 weeks at least, starting. And then I think Drake May and maybe even Milton will get some reps in there as well, especially preseason, of course, but like during the regular season as well. I think they'll get reps here and there. I don't expect either of them to start right off the bat, which, I mean, Brissett's a good quarterback. Obviously, he's not the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, but he's good. He's got a few years under his belt now. I think he'd be a great mentor for those guys. So let him take the reins for at least the first few games. Let him mentor the guys, and then see where Drake and Joe Milton are after those few games.
I'm a Vikings fan, so we're in a very, very similar boat right now with rookie QBs coming in, and we got kind of their veteran QBs didn't really have the career that they were amped up to have, especially Sam Darnold with the Vikings. Like he was expected to be really good, but he ran into a couple of train wreck franchises with Carolina and the Jets. Just a couple of just the worst landing spot if you're a rookie quarterback, those two places. And we're seeing it again in Carolina right now, what they're doing to their young guy. Just career suicide ending up with those teams. Hopefully Drake May can find Demario Douglas quite a bit this season.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So your second write that down prediction.
My second write that down prediction is that we have more than 1,000-yard rusher. Quentin Cooley hit it last year. Caden Salter almost hit it. I think Caden or even maybe another one of the running backs will hit it this year.
I agree with that. That's a crazy stat though, to have two guys hit 1,000 rushing yards. You got to be running the ball like pretty much every play, and it's not like we're a team that just runs the ball nonstop. It just happens to be that way where Caden Salter, he gets under pressure or he finds a gap, he just picks up
he can go.
big running yards. And of course, we got the bowling ball himself, Quentin Cooley. Well, one of the best running backs in college football right now. That may or may not translate to pro ball. I think he does end up on a pro team.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit in the future.
Yeah.
But
he's a little bit shorter, I believe, too. So that size might play a factor.
Yeah. He's a little short. He's like big. He's a big running back.
Oh, yeah, he's big.
Yeah. But when you get to the NFL and you're a big running back, that size that helped you be effective in college football isn't as effective because you're running into linebackers and defensive ends that are even bigger than you. So it's not really helpful to his potential pro career, but hopefully he can use his legs to just go for 1,000 yards. It would be really cool to see two guys hit 1,000 yards on this team. Last team I think that did it was probably Air Force or Army, one of those run-heavy offenses that just pound the ball up the middle pretty much on every single play. So that's something to look out for. I do like that prediction a lot. Getting into my third and final write this down prediction.
And take it into your prayer group times.
I am predicting. So the golf season last year ended in a little bit of disappointment. I know a few of the guys on the team, and they're definitely much better than the way they played all season long. They did manage to win the conference championship by the skin of their teeth in a playoff. Josh Ryan came in clutch, won the conference MVP. So I think the way that they underperformed this season, I don't think it's just guys playing poorly. I think it's coaching. And so we've had Jeff Thomas here for over 10 years now. He's won multiple Coach of the Year awards with multiple conferences, Big South Conference, and now he won it this year with Conference USA. But I think it's time to move on. I think we're going to hire a new golf coach by next spring. Write that down.
Okay. I will admit I'm not that much into golf myself, but I might need to start following now.
Well, we did win conference championship this year. We won at Oregon a few years ago. There's inside the clubhouse, there's this Oregon Duck trophy. Like it's just nice. The Oregon Duck is a trophy. It's kind of fun. Hurts a little bit when you look at it, thinking about football, but we did get him back in golf at some point. But yeah, I think his time has come to an end at Liberty, and we'll see what happens there if the move does get made. If Ian McCaw decides, it is time to get a new coach. So that's my third and final. Write that down prediction. Let's get into yours.
All right, my third and final write that down prediction is men's basketball to the conference championship this year. Not predicting that they're going to win it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I say they make it this year. I think Richie McKay has done a great job at the transfer portal and obviously the recruiting game, getting guys like Javon Mogmer. I think it's Isaiah Innen, Minnesota. A transfer.
It sounds right. Yeah,
it's Isaiah Innen, I believe. Those guys, and then there's one more guy. Oh shoot, there's one more that I was thinking of. I just blanked on his name. But yeah, I think the transfer portal, he's done a great job this year, and I think adding the size that we've obviously lacked, and people on social media they have been complaining for the longest time. Oh, we've missed it.
Overreacting for sure.
Yes. Oh, we lost by 1 point last year at Kennesaw State. We missed the NCAA tournament by a free throw.
Oh,
And then we had one down season the year prior to that. Oh yeah, I know it hurts. I was at that game, so
yeah.
pain.
There was a lot of hype going into that game too. It's like, really, Kennesaw State? They're terrible. Come on.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you gotta give them credit. I talked to Darius McGee about it when I had that interview with him a few months ago, and he was like, you got to give him credit, but it's a little disappointing. Even now, it still hurts a little bit to think about.
Right.
But yeah, Richie McKay got so much heat last year for the way the team played, and some of it, I will say, a little bit of it, like a little touch of it, is deserved. They had a really tough time against conference opponents that I think we should steamroll. We should steamroll pretty much everybody in this conference except for maybe Louisiana Tech. I think they're one of those teams that really should have a difficult matchup, but we didn't have the size, and that's just a fact. And did see I don't know what the assistant coach's name is, but I saw him walking around campus on multiple occasions with some 6'6" to 6'9" guys, like some really tall guys that are going to be coming in here.
Was it Brad? Or was it Joe? There's Brad, there's Joe.
It might have been Joe.
Does he have glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Joe. We're talking about Joe.
Yeah, I would see him walking around at North over by the Chick-fil-A, see him pass by with these tall guys. I'm like, okay. They've heard the complaints. They understand what they need to do, and they're making the changes that are necessary.
Right.
Well, hopefully this team does make it to the championship, I should say. We didn't make it to the championship.
Yeah.
We were first round exits, I believe.
Well, we had a bye. We had our first round bye.
We had a bye.
So
it was second round exit.
Yeah.
But yeah, disappointing season. Hopefully we can bounce back and have a good one this upcoming year.
Right. I mean, personally, I wouldn't really call it disappointing because, I mean, obviously, like I've discussed on social media a lot this past year or so, like going into Conference USA, and I kind of disagree with you a little bit on the like blowing teams out of the water. I think most of the teams in this USA basketball, I think it's a big step up. I think it's a much better league than we were in the ASUN. So I wouldn't say I'm content. I'd say I'm right under content. Like I'm okay with not winning the conference championship in the first year, but obviously I would have liked to see a little bit better ending. But it is what it is.
I would have preferred to see us lose in the championship if that's the way it's going to be.
Exactly.
Western Kentucky, they're the ones that went to the tournament, I believe, right? They win?
They won.
They won a game, the first 4 game.
Did they?
I believe they've won first 4 game, they should be an automatic bid if they're coming from conference.
In my defense, I watched a ton of basketball with the CUSA Championship down in Huntsville, and then I watched almost all the tournament games. So I don't think they did. I think they just played Marquette and they lost to Marquette, which they played a really good first half against Marquette. So
yeah, they were in it after the first half, and then Marquette just showed why they're the better team.
Yeah,
and
and honestly, like, I was there. I stayed for every single game, men's and women's, for that tournament, and got my money's worth. But just to see their fan base show up like that, and the coach got them to where they were. I feel bad for them having their coach leave for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think I paid more attention to the women's basketball team throughout the entirety of the season last year because I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. That was the best women's basketball team that Liberty has ever put on the floor in the school.
And that's saying something.
Especially with the Sweet 16 team.
Yeah,
and I believe this team could have gone to the Sweet 16. Not Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, or MTSU. It was one of those 2 schools. whichever one of them it was, but they ended up
MTSU
getting
won the championship.
Yeah, so MTSU, they went into the tournament and they made it to round of 32 or Sweet 16.
Yeah,
where
they
lost
beat
to
was
LSU.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah,
Oh,
they beat
we played
Louisville, I
Louisville.
believe.
We came
Yeah, I
close to
think so.
beating Louisville this year. We played
Yeah.
them on their floor. But yeah, they were playing really well, and then they just ran into LSU, and LSU undisputed top 4 team in the country. So,
Right.
but we'll see what happens this upcoming year. Bella Smuda's coming back. Really excited about that. One of the premier talents that Liberty women's basketball has ever had.
Oh yeah.
If I were to rank
Asia Boone.
she is nuts. I could go
Crazy.
on about her. Like, she's a true freshman coming in here and she's doing that, putting up 15, 20 points a game. Just nuts, man. She's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our write that down predictions. I think these are some pretty good ones. We have a couple of touchdown or Hail Mary predictions in there. We'll see what happens when they come off the board. None of these are going to be coming off the board anytime soon. So hopefully, hopefully we'll see some of these come into fruition, especially for making it back to the championship for basketball, and Caden Salter finishing top 5 for Heisman voting. That would be really cool to see. So that's it. Was write that down.
Into your prayer group times.
All right. I say it's about time we wrap up the podcast. This is our first episode. Got anything else, Jerry?
I mean, we've touched on a lot of good subjects. I am unbelievably excited for this coming up season, year 2 in this Conference USA, year 2 for Jamie Chadwell and his crew. I love what that coaching staff is doing, and I'm really excited to be back on campus at the end of August.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. There really should be. We got some things going on here. It's really special on the mountain. So this has been the Wildfires podcast. This is a podcast about all your hot takes, everything that you want to be discussing. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you next time.